Jaylen Brown with the finish. Wow.
Celtics steamroll the Heat here in the second half, and now have a 3-2 lead in these Eastern Conference Finals, with Game 6 coming up on their home floor.
YouTube, how's everyone doing? Jags to Riches, James Peters. Thank you so much for your time. Eastern Conference Finals, Game 5 is a wrap. The Boston Celtics victorious 93-80. Tale of two halves. Without question, a rough defensive-minded start to the game, all the way up till the end of the third. And then it got blown wide open. Of course, go through the box scores, some of my key takeaways, and just take a second to reflect on what has been a wild playoff run, and the fact that the Boston Celtics are one win away from the NBA Finals. Let's get to it next, guys. Starting with the Boston Celtics. And of course, Jason Tatum, 44 big minutes, 22 points. He was a plus 17. He had 12 rebounds with 9 assists, triple-double wash, 7 for 20 from the field, 2 for 8 from the three. I want to see some better three-point shooting from him. But Jaylen Brown, 25 points. He was a plus 20, 10 for 19 from the field. He was 5 for 9 from the three. Excellent shooting, 4 rebounds, an assist, a steal, a block. Al Horford, again, I would say right there with Derek White, was the hero of this game. 16 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. So efficient with 5 for 8 from the field. But as I mentioned, Derek White, 29 minutes off the bench, and he played the most important pieces and parts of this game for the Celtics. 14 big points, 5 assists, 2 steals, 6 for 8 from the field. But he was spectacular. He really was. This is one of his best games I've seen. And it really shows, like, he does, and you hear this often, he does so many things right. And I love how he fits into this system, especially when you lose a defensive player of the year in such a important piece like Marcus Smart. I know he returned, but only 24 minutes, 5 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. He's still clearly dealing with an injury. He's missed multiple games in this playoff. So it's just, when you can just insert Derek White, and I know when he's bad, or I mean, it looks bad, 0 for 6, 0 points. Like, he can be quite inefficient and inconsistent, especially when it comes to scoring. But he does so many other things really at a high level. He's one of the best perimeter defenders in the game, and definitely one of the best on our team. He's one of the best in the league when it comes to drawing charges. I think it's him and Smart right up there at the top, maybe 1 and 2. Excellent with playmaking, his vision, and just his fit in the game. I really do. I love when he is being aggressive and actually attacking, getting involved, playmaking, and trying to score. It's when he's passive, as I think Van Gundy said, he gets kind of in trouble at times. But showing some love and respect to the opponent. Bam with 18 points, 10 rebounds, a big double-double. He's kind of been under a lot of, he's really kind of disappeared at times when he's been bad. And honestly, you can honestly point the finger and say this just about anyone on the Miami Heat team. It's kind of when they've been off in this playoff series, they have been off in a big way. Now, Bam obviously had that game 3 explosion where he had the 31, 10, and 6. But I mean, he's had a few games where he's 6 points, 9 rebounds, 9.6 rebounds. But again, a big double-double from him. But Jimmy Butler, and I said it in the pregame show, shout out to Bree Marie, shout out to Bobby. And in fact, I believe both of them are posting post-game reactions on Celtics Corner. Definitely get over there and check that out. But we both, and when we were going over our picks, the over-unders for our sponsor prize picks, I think Jimmy Butler was at like 23 or 24 and a half on his points. That was the line. And I think I said it, and we all agreed that in order for Miami to win, Jimmy has to hit that. I mean, he has to be spectacular. Like, he came out in those first 2 games, 41 piece in game 1, 29 in game 2, And then ever since that game 3, I mean, it's the injury. He played 20 minutes. He had 8 points in game 3. Didn't play the second half. Game 4, he had 6 points. Game 5, 13 points. I mean, it's been, you know, if it is the injury, especially when you talk about a knee-based, that type of injury, I think it was JJ Redick who said, you can't get a lot of basketball activity done. Like, it's pretty much just recovery, you know what I mean? Treatment. So it's like he'll play a game, and these damn games are so quick. It's like play a game, go get treatment for a day, and then you're playing again. So he's not doing a lot of basketball activities, and I think it's showing. Like, he is definitely, I mean, with the rest of this team, because talk about, you know, struggling. How about the backcourt? Kyle Lowry and Max Strus. Now, Kyle Lowry with 0 points, 0 for 6. Max Strus with 4 points. And when you really take a second to look now, game 4, they only scored 3 points total. They were 1 for 13. And then they follow that up in game 5 with 4 points combined. And as you see, it was only free throws. In game 4, it was Kyle Lowry, I believe, that hit a 3-pointer. That was their only made field goal of the past 2 games. They are 1 for 28, game 4 and game 5 combined. And again, the only 4 points they scored tonight were free throws by Max Strus. I believe it was Joel Embiid that tweeted it. The Miami Heat desperately need another star. These teams, like the way they're configured, and just like I said, guys, I'm a Florida boy. I'm a fan of the Heat. I watch them a lot. I love the way their team is, but you can tell Bam cannot be the second best player on a championship team. He, going into this playoffs and series, to me, he was one of the top 3-4 big men in the game. That is kind of, you know, he hasn't done a lot to reinforce that, I'll be honest. However, I will say he's 23, 24. He's still averaged 19 and 10 this year, coming off of a 19 and 10 and 5 last year. I mean, the last time we've seen him in the playoffs, that 2020 bubble year, he averaged 21, 10 and 5 against us. So, I mean, Bam has all the potential in the world, gold medalist. So it's not like he's not, 3 years from now, he could still be right up there behind Embiid and Joker as far as the best bigs in the game. But Jimmy Butler's 32, 33. He's not getting any younger, and they have the right pieces around with Tucker and Lowry and all these, a bunch of really good 3-point shooters. Gabe Vincent was really good for them tonight off the bench. Victor Oladipo has been really good for them throughout this series. Like, if they had that one other player, man, woo-wee. Like, can you imagine? Remember, it was like a couple years ago when they were talking about trying to be in the Giannis sweepstakes. Like, imagine if he went there instead of Milwaukee. Or, I mean, that is Miami. It's a hot spot of all hot spots. You know what I mean? And I'm not sure what the offseason looks like for big names this upcoming year. I don't think it's that many, but I know the next following season there's going to be a bunch. And who knows? You never know. Shit, what if Joker's like, I'm done with this, Denver, I want to go? Or if Donovan Mitchell says, hey, I want out, I don't want to be in Utah. You never know. You know what I mean? Dame Lillard's going to be, you could see Dame Lillard, Bradley Beal, like all those guys could potentially be on new teams going into next year. You know what I mean? So who knows? The shape of the NBA is constantly changing. So you heard me mention it was a tale of two halves, and I thought that the Jays really struggled in the first half, especially Brown. That first quarter, I think he had 4 turnovers with only 3 points. But as you can see, I mean, look, 10 points combined in the first half. What were they? 3 for 16 from the field combined. But in that second half, man, they both went. I mean, they got going in a big way. 18 points from JT and 19 from Jaylen Brown. And as you see, now they're 14 for 23 from the field. I mean, it was, like I said, a tale of two halves, responded in a big way. And they essentially went on a 32-16 run in that third quarter. I mean, you're talking about with 2 minutes, maybe 2 and some change, 2.5 minutes or so left, it was 59-58. And then all of a sudden they go on, a run, and it's 69-58 going into the fourth. Miami didn't score that last 2.5, 3 minutes. Meanwhile, the Celtics damn near scored 10 points. And then with about 9 minutes left in the game, so 3 minutes into the fourth quarter, I mean, the Celtics were up by 20 points. So again, it really got out of control. You're talking about from about, let's say, 2 minutes and 45 seconds left in the third till about 9 minutes left in the fourth, 5 minutes. I mean, it went from a point game to a 20-point game. So, I mean, it's incredible. The NBA, as you always hear, is a game of runs. And when a team is locked in, not turning over the ball, and hitting their shots, and it's incredible what they can do. As we stated in the pregame show, and you hear often, the winner of Game 5 goes on to win the series 81.8% of the time. We can easily counter that just based on last series. The Bucks won Game 5, and obviously we went on to win that series. But the Boston Celtics really are in a excellent position to potentially close out this series at home in Game 6, TD Garden, to go to their first NBA Finals since the 2009-2010 season, when KG, who had his jersey retired, Rondo, Pierce, all them boys. I mean, you're talking a long time ago. So, I mean, at that time, what was Jason Tatum, 12, 13 years old back then? I mean, so it's it really is special, because I can remember the 08, I can remember those runs like it was yesterday. So it's let's not get ahead of ourselves. All respect to the number 1 seed Miami Heat. As I stated in the pregame show, again, guys, to be humble, to understand what is in front of you, the opportunity to go up 3-2 and bring it back home. And they did just that. I'm very proud of this team. The Celtics defense is truly, truly special. I mean, it really is. So it begs to question what happens. It's looking like Golden State, even though Dallas battled back with the win to avoid the sweep, it's looking like Golden State could potentially be waiting there, right? And you heard Bobby say earlier that he thought that Golden State had been tested and seen defenses. I disagreed with that. If you look, their opening round, they faced Joker, who didn't have his number 2 and 3 player, Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. And I get it, he hasn't had them this season, but it's like, what are you really expecting from that 6th seed that's basically being carried by one guy? I mean, their second best player is Will Barton and like Aaron Gordon. Those aren't really scorers. So, and then in the second round, they played Memphis. And as good as Memphis has been this year, guys, to me, they are still one of those teams that they need to prove it a little bit more. Like, I need to see them come back next year, kind of do it again. Like, is Memphis the Atlanta team of last year, the Knicks team of last year that had an incredible run and then came back the next year and came back down to earth? I don't think so. I really like how that Memphis roster is built, constructed, young, and they've got some money to spend. So I think they're for real. However, half that damn series, they didn't have Ja anyways. And again, I know Memphis is good and they've won without Ja, but that's regular season. You're not winning against the Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference semis without your star player and Ja Morant. Come on. So again, and now they're playing Dallas, and they're about the gentleman sweep this team. And no disrespect to them, but Dallas is another team. Like, it's Luka, and then, I mean, they've unlocked Jalen Brunson, who I'm a big fan of, but he's been a bench 6-man for them this year. Spencer Dinwiddie, it's like those are their best players. So Luka, like Miami, needs another superstar or star with him. But so it's going to be interesting, because on the other side of that, and again, Golden State, this is a team of champions, superstars, some of the best players of our eras, I mean, and they're still in their prime. Obviously they're on the downhill side of it. They're all in 32, 33 age groups. So, they don't got, that much longer of a run, but they are still definitely in their prime. And then they've got this, I mean, incredible player development program where now you've got freaking Jordan Poole and Wiseman and Kuminga and Moody and all these other really talented young guys coming up. So you've got the, experience with the champs and playing in those type of big moments. And then you've got the Celtics, who have been battle tested and are in the midst of, if they win this, it'd be the greatest turnaround in NBA history. It already arguably is, based on that, historic mid-season turnaround to the 2nd seed. And now they're 1 win away from the finals, 5 wins away from a championship. And if you look at this run, guys. It's insane. The Brooklyn Nets, Katie and Kyrie, the defending champs, Giannis, and now they're beating the number 1 seed Miami Heat, who were just in the finals the year before last, just to get to Golden State. What an absolutely, I mean, that is a gauntlet of all gauntlets, but it's just the way the world works. And I know everyone now is trying to write it off like, oh, well, the Nets suck. I mean, no, I'm not letting anyone get away with that, because there was so many. It was like a consensus story where it was, oh, the Celtics should be tanking. Why aren't they tanking like the Bucks and the Sixers and everyone else trying to lose? Why are they playing their starters? Last game of the season against Memphis, remember? It was, I remember Jalen and Jason both came out. There was a video I started off with the clips of them where they came out and they addressed it as a team. Ime sat us down. Do we want to do this? Well, yes, because what we're trying to accomplish this year, we have to go through anyone. So again, oh, this is not a typical 7 seed. These are all the things people were saying about Brooklyn. It wasn't until we swept them where it was all of a sudden they were terrible and all this other bullshit came out, and people forget that was a tough series. Every single game was a 7-point margin. So game winner by Tatum in game 1. That was a battle. You know what I mean? We threw every damn thing and we had at KD, and he still damn near averaged 26 or whatever it was in that series. So it's like, but the fact that we went for it at the end of the year, played our starters, and the other teams like Milwaukee didn't, cost them home court. And guess what? The second round, we play Milwaukee, and it goes to game 7, where if they would have went for it, if they would have played their starters to end the year, they would have had game 7 in Milwaukee. It could have been a completely different story. However, game 7 in TD Garden, Grant Williams has the game of his lifetime, a career historic shooting 3, and we advance to what now is, a 3-2 lead against Miami in the Eastern Conference Finals. And again, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, because let's not forget, just last series, the Celtics were down to the Bucks 3-2. So we had to win back-to-back games, which we did, to advance. So let's not completely count Miami out. Let's finish the job. It's as simple as that. We're back home. We're at the Garden. That place is going to be absolutely electric. Let's go in there and get the job done, and just solidify what has been just an absolutely unbelievable, incredible run in season. Again, guys, Bobby and Bree, I believe, both did a highlight and post-game breakdown on Celtics Corner. Go check that out. Pre-game, post-game, basically for every damn game that there is, including this upcoming Friday. Happy birthday to 40 Cal, one of the guys on the Celtics Corner crew. If you haven't had an opportunity, guys, please subscribe. I would appreciate it. We're knocking on the door of 400 subs, so please help me get that marker, that milestone. But anyways, Jags to Riches, James Peters, checking in with you on Friday for Game 6 and what is hopefully the final game of the Eastern Conference Finals. Take care, guys. Thank you.